as many cars and trucks come out of the boxes, especially ready to runs, they come with a pre-painted body. After a while of running, you may damage your body. The body post may poke through the post holes. You may just want to take time out and do something a little bit different. We're going to walk you through here today how to go ahead and paint your own custom body. We're going to give you some simple steps to avoid having the all white body or all one color body or all black color body or whatever you have. You'll need some basic tools to be able to perform these tasks, and you'll also need to be doing this in a well-ventilated area. Anytime that you're spraying any kind of aerosol, be it spray paints, motor sprays, things like that, you need to be in a well-ventilated area because these fumes are harmful and toxic. Getting started today, we have a couple different bodies we're going to work with. We have the stock body here off of the XXX TCR that we're going to mock up for you guys. And then we also have one of the new R8C bodies from CRC Racing for a 12 scale car. The same principles will apply to both bodies. Just this way we can show you a couple different details on each one. Now, many bodies that you have out there, such as the one for the XXX TCR, include this little sheet here. This is basically a sheet of window masks. As you can see here, the body as it comes out of the packaging, it's completely clear. The paint that we're going to apply is applied on the inside of the body. I know many people who may not be as familiar with RC cars and bodies and things like that think that the paint is actually applied on the outside. It's actually applied to the inside of the body. The reason for this, the material that the bodies are made out of is called Lexan. It's a clear plastic, very lightweight but very durable. The Lexan itself will provide the sparkle or the shine in your paint scheme once it's all done. Now, another thing to note before you do anything is you do need to go ahead and wash the body thoroughly with warm water and use some kind of a dish soap as well. When they go ahead, the Lexan that you see here actually comes in flat sheets. What they do is they take that and they stretch it over a mold, heat it up, and then this body comes out of it as you see it here. Before they apply that flat sheet of Lexan to the mold, they actually spray a mold release agent on the Lexan itself. We need to go ahead and wash that mold release agent off of the Lexan because that will prevent the paint from properly adhering and bonding to the Lexan body itself. Now, after you're done doing that, you need to go ahead and select your paints that you're going to use. I like using just the rattle cans. They're fairly inexpensive, they're easy to use, they work well, and you don't need an air compressor like with an airbrush. Now with an airbrush, you do have better control over your flow and things like that than what you will with a rattle can. You can also custom mix your own colors. When you're getting ready to paint, you're going to need a number of different supplies. Paint, of course, a tapered reamer, a curved and a straight Lexan scissors, a hobby knife, a felt tip pen, and if you forget to go ahead and mark your body post holes before you start painting, Trinity sells a set of, they call them no-brainer body post markers. What you do is you set these little pointed guys on the top of your body post. You get everything eyeballed up and centered underneath the chassis itself, and you just push down on the body. It will dimple the body for you so you know exactly where you need to put your holes. For the particular paint scheme I'm going to be doing today, I'm using 3 different paints. They're all from Pactra. You do want to make sure that you use Lexan compatible paints. Don't go to the local hardware store and just grab anything off the shelf. It won't bond properly to the Lexan itself. So basically the Pactra paints that I'm using today are Blue Streak, Sprint White, and then I'm going to back it all up with Indy Silver. There are many different types of masking tape that are out there that you can use for these applications. I've really grown fond to this blue painter's tape that you can get at just about any hardware store. It creates a very nice line between colors. It peels off very nice. It doesn't leave a sticky residue. It just works very well. You can get a wide variety of different thicknesses. So if you're working on anything from a 1/36 or 1/18 scale car all the way up to monster trucks and 8 scale buggies and truggies, there's a tape here that will work for your application. And then one thing that if you really want to get, I don't want to say fancy, but fancy really with what you're doing with your painting, you can use what's called liquid mask. Now what this does is it works pretty much the same way as what masking tape does. But you apply this to the inside of the body after it's completely cleaned off, and this will allow you can draw on this with like a felt tip marker or something like that. You can actually create your designs on this before you spray them out. And then once this has dried on the inside of the body, you'll use a sharp hobby knife to cut your designs out. If you're not that sure-handed, I know I'm not. I use liquid mask fairly regularly, but many times I still slip and have to redo sections. There are many manufacturers out there that also sell pre-cut window masks as well. So if you like flames or circles or shapes or things like that, there are those options for you as well. Now, we've already cleaned the XXX TCR body, and we've applied some of the masking that we have here to the 12 scale body. When you're applying masking tape inside the body, use the body to your advantage. A lot of times you'll have detail lines that are molded into the body itself that you can use to help get straighter lines as you're applying your tape. On this body, the bottom line here, I'm actually following a molded line that's in the body itself. It helped me make sure that this stripe will be as straight as possible. Now, as you see here, I've gone ahead and just applied a single stripe down the side. Now, what I'll end up doing here is my main color I'm going to use on this body will be a blue. It's actually called Blue Streak from Pactra. And then in here is going to be white. Now, it's kind of bland just doing it that way. So what I've done on a previous body, and I'm going to do on this one as well, is there's also this trim tape that you can use to really help accentuate some of the curves and lines on the body. What's nice about this as well is it will curve around like fender wells or things like that, or difficult areas. This body as well did not come with window masks like the XXX TCR body did. So what I actually had to do was lay tape on the inside of the body here and then cut the tape out with a sharp X-Acto knife. One of the things that made that easier for me as well, if we can get a closer look here, if you notice above and below the tape line that we have here, there's kind of a black mark around there. I took my my black felt tip marker that I have and just ran it around the etched lines that are already molded into the body. That gave me an optical mark of where I needed to cut around for the tape too. Another thing you can notice here, there are 4 blue pieces of tape on the body and a 5th one here for the antenna hole. Before you go ahead and paint the body, you'll need to go ahead and mark it for where your body posts are going to be located. On some bodies, like if you're using a direct replacement for the body that comes with your vehicle, say you have a low-C high roller and you've just purchased a clear high roller body, that will already be dimpled with the appropriate mounting positions for your body post holes. With something like this, because it can be used on a wide variety of different vehicles, there were no body post holes marked in it. So I've gone ahead, I had previously marked that on the body, used my reamer that I have here, just made some holes in it to go ahead and mark my position. I've covered it up with tape so I don't have to worry about overspray coming through and getting on the top of the body. Now, one thing too in the last few years that just about every body manufacturer has done as well is, if we can take a look here, if you notice it says protective film. There is a very thin, almost like a plastic wrap that comes on most Lexan bodies now. This is called an overspray film, and what it does is it prevents you from getting overspray on the outside of the body and ruining your paint scheme. It's so much nicer than how it used to be. Now, you'll have to peel that off once you have all of your paint applied to the outside of the body. If you start applying decals to the outside of the body and you forgot to peel that film off, you're going to need a new set of decals for what you're doing. You can't really save them, and I say that because I'll admit I've done that once before. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to grab the XXXT body that we have here, we're going to go and we're going to wash it out. We've already done that to the 12 scale body that we have here, so let's show you how that's done.